It's another world premiere.
Q93, baby, it's your boy, Wild Wayne. The moment you have all been waiting for. I told y'all I had a super special interview, straight 504 on the line right now. I have my man, Lil Wayne. What's happening, homie?
What's poppin', bro?
Man, I am good.
How you doing?
I'm real good, man. Excited to have you on the line. It's been a minute since we've been on the radio together, you know?
Yeah, man. It's been a minute, man. Yeah.
Hey, man, so tell me a little bit about what you got going on right now. I know Free Weezy just dropped on the 4th of July. Tell me about that project, man, because if folks are on Tidal, they got it, or they got the sneak peek of some of the singles on there, man. Tell me about that record, what it meant to you.
That Free Weezy album, first of all, I just want to say I appreciate everybody who even thought about it and even heard anything about it and gave me an opinion on it, and appreciate the feedback I'm getting from it. But the album personally is for me personally, it's just a testament of my will. Just shows me that no matter what, I'm still able to do what I do at the best of my abilities and still get more of a reaction, the exact reaction I would love, and more than what I'm expecting. And just that's all. So when I look in the mirror every day, I know that the person that's been there is still there, maybe somebody greater in the future.
And you know, after some of those songs that I heard, like Glory and a couple of the other ones, to me, it seemed like you really was on your wordplay even more than ever. Like you was really putting an exclamation point on this thing.
Truthfully, honestly, if I said it was true, I'd be lying. Wayne, I ain't gonna lie, but I do this with my eyes closed. If I really did try to make, if I put the effort that, I guess people probably, when they hear it, because a lot of people came at me like, boy, you really went off. You really took your time. You really went in. And I'm very humble, so I accept it, and I be like, yeah, I did. But honest to God, man, I do it with my eyes closed, man. I do it with a phone in one hand and standing out there and a skateboard in the other. And I ain't gonna lie, I do it with my eyes closed, Wayne. So that if I was to really have something, you know, have something to go in there and really approach it the way everybody think, that's what I'd be doing. It'd be dangerous.
So will we get the dangerous Lil Wayne anytime soon?
Oh yeah, that's for when everything get right.
Okay, let me ask you this question, man. You've been doing this for a very long time when it comes to a rapper's lifetime in the game. You know what I'm saying? I remember the early days, obviously, the green cassette tape with you and BG when you really, you were like, it was the BGs. Nobody really knew that it was Lil Doogie and Lil Wayne unless you notice rap stuff. You know what I'm saying?
You had to really know that.
It was like you came off the porch like swinging the bat early, like, you know what I'm saying? So you've been doing this for so long, and you've been doing it very consistently, more consistently than probably anybody else in the game. And I'm a rap fan, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, you are. Right.
Does it get difficult sometimes to continue to write compelling material when you've done so many songs with so many people for so many years?
You know, sometimes I think if I was to ever think about it, like literally have to think about it, and I think then it probably become complicated or difficult. But I thank God every day when that's what I do. I thank God after every two word or two lines I think of, every bar I make up. I thank God, like sometimes, because I blow myself away. I be like, God, it was so easy. It came so easy that it's gotta be more than just me putting this together. So like I said, man, I thank God every day. And as far as being young and coming from New Orleans and still rapping the way I rap and going against the grain when, you know, New Orleans back then was rapping with something else. I owe a lot of that to my neighborhood, Holly Grove. The people I grew up around, they would always just tell me, you know, they didn't want to hear that. When they wanted to hear a verse from me, they didn't want to hear me coming on saying, you know, whatever was supposed to be said, they didn't want to hear that. They wanted to hear what I had to say. And that also, I owe a lot of that to Juvenile, man. Juvenile was always, when it was the Hot Boys and we was packing together and had to write these songs together. And when Baby said, okay, let me hear your verse, and you got Jeezy doing his verse, you got Turk giving his verse, and you got Juvie giving his verse. When I come out and I probably sound like I was from New York, from down where I was easily discouraged when I would see that Stunner. It wouldn't relate to Stunner the way it would relate to Juvie. And Juvie pulled me to the side and said, hey, don't you change one word in that verse. Don't you change one word in that verse. Yeah, he put me to the side and let me know, like, you better than all three of us. Don't you change one verse. Don't you change one word. Like, you going to be the best one day. You are the best.
That's crazy to hear from Juvie because, you know, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm interviewing you, but when the Hot Boys was out, let me tell you, I was like, that boy Juvie is the coldest in the game. That's gotta make you like a better MC when you going against the best, but you with the best at the same time.
We had. I always idolized Baby. You know what I mean? From day one, I always thought he was more than what he is. And at the time, with that said, I never really cared about impressing the listeners. It was always about impressing him.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always about making sure Baby and Slim and Manny Fresh and was satisfied with the verse.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, and knowing Juvie pulling me to the side, that's how I approached my song. Knowing that, okay, I know once Juvie spit his verse, Stunner felt like you. Stunner felt like Juvie was Jesus.
Right, right.
He felt like everything he said was the coast. So you got to know that as a hot boy, you like, man, I already know when Juvie come at him and he had Juvie's verse on his song, he gonna play Juvie's verse 3 times before he even want to hear anybody else's verse.
Uh-huh.
So you had to go against all that, and I mean that made everybody else better.
I remember the first time that I ever heard a verse from this kid called Dwayne Carter. When Cash Money used to have the offices at the end of Tulane, all the way at the end.
Oh yeah,
across from like the public library. And
522-3660, man. I know.
Yeah.
I saw it every day.
I think Baby was using B32 then or Beatrice. That was like that was before
B32.
Birdman.
It was B32. He was B32, and they had D. And I think at first probably wasn't he. There was DJ Crackdown.
Ooh, yeah. And Baby let me listen to this kid on his answer machine. And he was telling me, man, this kid calls me every day leaving these raps. This boy Cole, I'm telling you. And I think maybe you was in school, maybe you was at McMain, or maybe not even at McMain yet at that particular time.
That was me.
Yeah.
596-5109. I did that every day after school. That was something I looked forward to from 9 o'clock in the morning in class. I'm not even paying attention to what the teacher's saying. I'm worrying about getting home from school and getting to that phone. Pressing 596-5109, leaving another rap on that voice, man.
Mm-hmm. You know, I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit to be part of the architect of the New Orleans sound, man.
I pat you on the back as well. But you're a huge part of that, man.
I just had to put that out there. That was just like one of my first memories of Lil Wayne. But, man, we fast forward, man, to 2015. You've been in the game for a number of years, 16, 17, 18 years at this point?
Yeah, I haven't even counted.
Professionally? I think this needs to be chronicled. Like, there needs to be books about this whole New Orleans game in depth with folks like yourself and other folks in the game. Was there artists at that time when you first started that with New Orleans products that maybe you were like, man, and outside of Juvenile, like some really New Orleans artists that maybe used to listen to that kind of influenced your early sound?
Yep. It was Lil Slim.
Lil Slim?
Yeah, and that was definitely because he was from the hood. He from my hood, of course. But he just had this, he still would approach his raps with this West Coast swag or something like that. I don't know. I used to love different stuff. And Kilo G. I was a huge Kilo G fan.
The Sleepwalk.
Yeah, man.
I had the wax, man. That was how long ago that was.
Yeah, I know you had the wax.
That's when I lived on 6 and B. Anybody else? So Lil Slim, Kilo G, the Sleepwalker. Anybody else was influential in your early rap development?
Yellow Boy.
Badass Yellow Boy.
But when you gotta hear, I'm talking about Yellow. When you gotta go get the album and you gotta hear him on like a track that's gonna probably be song 7, not the singles and all that. I'm talking not the bow and the hike and I'm talking about the real. I'm talking about the real Yellow. And he just going crazy. One of them, that type of stuff.
The call out there on the street.
You feel me?
Man. So that's cool reminiscing about those things, man. Now you are a man. You know what I'm saying? You was a boy then. You a man now in the game. And tell me about you becoming a businessman in the game, because I'm sure there was a point where you transitioned from being just an artist to an artist and a businessman. Tell me about that transition.
That transition came early for me, and I'm glad that transition came when I had my first child at a young age. So once you have a child, everything gets serious. Everything gets real. Everything you're doing, everything you thought you was doing because you love, it becomes, you're doing it because for your loved ones. And right there, and that right then and there, everything becomes business. Like my parents at the beginning. Simply because, for example, before it was just tune rap. To my mom it was just my son raps. And, he raps for cash money. Yeah, my son raps for cash money. Once I had a child, and then it was like, when, what you doing? When's this coming? Like, exactly. Before that, it was just, Tita, I'm going on the road for this. We got a concert this week. Okay, that's cool. I hope y'all have fun. Be careful. After that, when's the next concert?
Right. I need some more bread.
Yeah.
Reggie needs some diapers.
Exactly.
You became more of a businessman when life kind of became more important than just a hobby of rap. And then, you grew it even more to start your own brand, like the Young Money brand. So tell me about how that developed.
That happened. That's interesting, Wayne. That happened when, if everybody in New Orleans can remember, I started doing the squad up thing. Mm-hmm. And with that, what happened was, Stunner was he was kind of against that because it was kind of like, like a basketball, like when you got like a basketball team. The Cash Money was my team. It was kind of like off the court stuff. Mm-hmm. I was becoming bigger off the court. And so, like when I get back to the original team, I got off the court shine too. And I got off the court, I got people that's fans of what I do off the court. Mm-hmm. So with that said is now when I approach, instead of being T-shirt, Reeves, and Jabos, when I was doing my squad up stuff, we was Timberlands, headbands, jerseys on, throwback,
right,
and that was a different swag to New Orleans. That was to Stunner, to Baby, Baby old school. So to Baby, he uptown down. So to him that was like, okay, in New Orleans, in New Orleans, if you was dressing like that, you was probably from the West Bank. With me coming around with one shirt off on my shoulder, one sleeve off, big old jeans, and my boxers showing, and all that. Stunner had the wear on them. And what that said, I started getting a lot of offers out of town without having to get. We don't want the hot boys. We just want you, Wayne. We want you in the squad. Mm-hmm. That's when the brand kicked off. That's when I became a real brand. That's when I started, my best friend, I owe a lot of my career to my best friend, Cortez Bryant. Mm-hmm. That's when he, me and him started putting our heads together, and we started noticing, he set me down like, Wayne, you are more than what we both thought we were. We are a brand, and let's make this more of a brand. And that's where all that became.
Now, I'm going to dip off just a little second because this has always been a question of mine. But 500 Degrees was put out right before the Squad Project. And I guess that must have been 04, 05 or something like that, around Katrina or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think 500 Degrees did what Cash Money thought it would do. I don't know if it did what you thought it would do. But the Squad did far beyond what anybody anticipated. That's when mixtapes were like huge, and I'm going to be honest. I'm letting it all hang out. I was really worried about Lil Wayne still remaining as big a star as I thought he was, because 500 Degrees,
Right.
you know, it was a funny name on it when 400 Degrees was such a huge global hit. And then I was just wondering, like, what's going on? Is Wayne going to make it? And then, like, you know, sometimes when you in this hip-hop game or just in life, you have to rebrand yourself.
I can explain that, too. What that was, like you said, the squad was huge. And like I told you, Stunner was still wearing on Stunner, so he wasn't too with it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So what you got from that was, we go back to that basketball thing, and what you got from that was a okay season with that album.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that was Cash. You know, Cash. The whole team wasn't really behind me with that album.
Right.
Only thing, baby, was really behind about that was that it was 500 Degrees. That it was a rebelling album. It was we were supposed to be showing that, you know, Julie was gone and that we are still here. And that's what's fun to try to live off. I mean, that's what we try to live off, and that's what Cash Money, period, try to sell with that album. When I think when you seen that at the next album, it was just more of, you know what, we gave into whatever Wayne's doing, and we're gonna go with this Carter thing. And that's when the Carter became the Carter.
Before we talk about the Carter, I got a serious question. Were you against at any point doing the 500 Degrees thing, especially since you had so much love for Juvie? That's a tough question.
I can't lie, man. I was young. I'm from New Orleans. I ain't gonna lie. I was young. I'm from New Orleans. I didn't have no doubts at all about it. I was ready and the chamber loaded. You know me. I'm from New Orleans, but I ain't gonna lie. I was ready, bro.
I see that kind of happening again right now.
Yeah. What you mean? Yeah.
It's like it's almost identical what's happening right now to what happened then.
With who though?
With you and his artist now. Yeah. It's like history repeating itself.
Let's not say artist, because I don't want nobody to think I don't got no problem with any artist out there. You just mean
I'm talking about Young Thug and you, because he used he tried to use. No, I'm just saying he used the same name, and I thought that was kind of for a project.
His was different. You know, like when we did it, we literally said, you know, we came out, we had no problem saying that, yeah, we don't need no Julie. This is 500 Degrees.
Right.
You know, like we had no problem saying that. I mean, you know, Slime came out and straight said that I'm naming my album such and such because of props and because I'm such a fan, and that's a total different approach.
Okay,
you know?
I got you.
I had to be some kind of monster to just overlook that and think, you know, I had to be a monster just to overlook. I'm not that type of person. I can't find. My man raised me. You know, I had to be just a monster for me to be like, I don't believe you. So if he says from the heart and he say that he's some kind of fan, then welcome. I love him. Help. Thanks, bro. You know what I mean? I appreciate everything about it if he's a fan.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I'm going to keep it moving. So the squad came out. I think it was huge. You brought some new artists on. You became even more of a businessman because not only did the squad become like a household name across the country, and it was to your doing, but also that Carter popped off. The Carter series popped off at that time as well, which, you know, catapulted you to like even higher heights. And you also found some artists that you brought in and started to build this Young Money brand. So we're talking namely Drake, and we're talking about Nicki. I was a Nicki fan before you started rocking with her. I just remember her doing like some Biggie remakes or what have you. I had dope videos online. That was around Katrina time too, I believe. I remember watching that out of town. But how did you get with those two artists? Because they became the cornerstone of Young Money.
We found Nick. We found Nick, like you saying what you said. We found Nick, somebody. I think I heard her singing or something like that, and I was told right then and there we needed a female to hold us down. It wasn't that we was looking for one. It was just she was impossible to pass up. But Drizzy's interesting. They had to sell Drizzy on me. I heard Drizzy like way more than I needed to hear Nicki. You know what I'm saying? Like, so when I heard Drizzy, I was like, I don't know. I was like, what is this? What is, what is this? And, truthfully, when I seen him, I was really like, I don't know. I'm not sure, because what I mean by that is it was so honest. The music was so honest.
Right.
We as listeners, we weren't used to that yet. I mean, what I mean by that is, we all at that time, rap was still, rap always been about persona. Back from Fat Boys, Run DMC, Big Old Chains, Kool Moe Dee, patches on the eyes, and Black Power, and then you dumb it down to us, popping bottles, us meaning Cash Money, Jay-Z, Puff Daddies, and Biggies, and it's always been a persona. We've never heard rap be honest like that, and when it was honest like that, it would be coming from a Common or something like that.
Right.
And what I mean by that is we expect that from him. So when I heard Drizzy, and there was honest music, but it was still talking about the things that I can relate to, and it wasn't just totally something that, you have to be a Common fan to listen to Common.
Right.
You know, and so when I started, that's what was so tricky. That's what it was like, something about it that I was like, I love. You can't not like it. And then the moment I heard him sing, the moment I heard a song where he started singing, I was like, wait, who's that on? I was like, okay, so who's that on this part? When I'm listening to the song I'm asking to do, I'm like, so who's that on this part? This guy's the person that really sings. And it was like, that's him too. And I was like, what, that's the guy that's rapping?
Right.
And it was like, yeah. I was like, okay, print him up a contract. Let's go.
Because I remember the first time I actually really heard Drake was on the street mixtapes with you, Nut the Kid, before it was Kid, and Drake. And, I thought that was a dope project, but I thought he was the weakest link on it. But I'm just saying. But obviously, he was, I think, early. He was, in his developmental stages then. But then I remember hearing not long after that this song called Successful. And yeah. I was blown away because, that's kind of been my mantra since day one. And I was like, who is this kid? I didn't even know it was Drake. But I remember that's probably the first song that got massive radio play for him. And my idea was changed about him after that. So I was like, man, that boy Wayne and hit again. But that's good to know, man. That's an interesting story about how Nicki came about and how Drake came about, because Young Money is such a big brand, and those were two key parts to it. Are there some artists that maybe you missed on, that maybe came to you and wanted you to sign them or be down with the brand, and maybe you passed on them and then they became big with somebody else or later?
I don't think it's artists that I passed on, because that's why people don't, when I say my people, I mean like Cortez and Max. That's why the artists go through them first. Mm-hmm. They don't even bring them to me, because they know I do not know how to say no. Mm-hmm. So, they know my heart to the wheel. If it was up to me, Wayne, I have everybody that you hear on the radio, they'll be on Young Money. So what happened? But there are, interesting you asked that question, there are artists that was with Young Money that a lot of people probably didn't know was really with Young Money. And there are artists out here now, that's Pleasure P. A lot of people didn't know he was with us.
I had no idea.
A lot of people didn't know that. A lot of people thought that Lloyd was just on the hook. Lloyd was actually with us. A lot of people didn't know Kevin Gates was with us for a minute.
Mm-hmm. I knew that one.
Okay, well, little things like that, But like I said, there's really nobody I can say I passed on. I think, what's this guy? Young Chop probably came at me before. The Young Chop guy from a long time ago, from the Bad Boys group thing. Puff used to have the group. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he probably about to be the only artist that actually came at me. Other than that, I think that's it. I ain't really passed on nobody that's out shit like that.
What was maybe your most memorable experience ever since you've been in hip hop?
I think my most memorable would probably be, going up there with that Grammy hearing my name called for that first Grammy. That time, that day, that got me right there. That made it. That was like a full stunt, but that brought everything into that brought everything into a full circle right there. That was perfect right there. That was a perfect moment. But other than that, I'd have to say I'd have to say that moment is still coming, but still it happens every day. So just getting texts from Jay-Z. You know, I mean, everybody who knows Lil Wayne know I'm the biggest Jay-Z fan. Just getting personal texts, and not just little texts about, that was I saw what you said, that was cool, thanks. Not them, person getting real texts from Jay-Z. That right there is a highlight every day. That's a highlight every day. I can't even front.
Wow. Now, I know everybody's out there listening to the interview, and everybody, of course, wants me to ask you the question about what's going on with that, but I've already been told that due to some legal action and some legal things going on, you're not at liberty to really talk about the situation with Cash Money. So I guess I'll just get that elephant out the room right quick, because I know everybody's hitting me on this text. Why are you not asking for this? Because you can't talk about it.
Yeah, I can get into it, God bless us all.
So the deal with Tidal, you got the new album, Free Weezy, on that, came out on the 4th of July, and there was obviously almost like a double entendre behind that, Free Weezy, and it was Independence Day, which was the freedom of the country. So that thing is doing what it do. What's your favorite song off of the project, man? My Heart Races On, London Road. Okay, gotcha. Plus, we've been talking about this huge announcement that was coming. Go ahead and let the world know.
Okay, New Orleans, finally, I'm starting a new, I'm finally coming down there. I got this new thing. It's called the Lil Weezyana Fest, Friday, August 28th. I repeat, it's the Lil Weezyana Fest, Friday, August 28th. The venue is at Champion Square. Listen, I'm coming home to give the city a real show for all the years of support, man. New Orleans ain't seen me on tour in the past 3 major tours because of logistics and all that, so I had to come back to the city to do a real show. And this time, I'm bringing some of my good friends from the industry, and for the first time in over 10 years, I'm hitting the stage with Juvie, Turk, and Fresh for a special performance. And you know, it's only right to put on a homecoming show on the weekend. That means so much to the city. It's the 10-year anniversary of Katrina, so it's only right. And, of course, I'll be donating all the proceeds back to the city from the concert. And it's just going to be love. And like I said, I want it to become something that I do every year. But to kick it off right, August 28th, Friday, Champion Square, Lil Weezyana Fest. Please come out and show your support. Please come out, enjoy yourself, lose your mind. I will find it for you later and return it back to you. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. So there it is. Lil Wayne with the Lil Weezyana Fest, Friday, August 28th. Tunchi, Juvie, Manny, and Turk, over 10 years since they've been on the stage together. And then a little birdie told me that there's even more artists that y'all can't announce yet that will be there. So people just got to keep it locked in for that. That's crazy. Tickets are on sale tomorrow. Tickets are on sale tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. The pre-sale password is 10 years. Get it from Ticketmaster. Get it wherever tickets sold. It's going to be huge. And once again, man, appreciate everything that you've done. From the hip-hop side, you know, it always gives me great pride, you know what I'm saying, when I'm out of town, when I'm in L.A. or when I'm in New York or wherever I'm at, and I can say, man, I broke Lil Wayne. I broke Cash Money, and
yes,
you do not disappoint, man. I'm like really a cheerleader for you, and that ain't no funny stuff. But I'm really a cheerleader for what you have done and continue to do. And on your worst day, I'll put you against the best rapper out there and watch you slay him. And I stand on that.
And I will eat him up and spit him out, man.
There it is. Hey, man, well, handle your business, man. Once again, thanks for stopping by the Wild Wayne Day Party Show. And I can't wait to see you on the 28th.
It's another world premiere.